Hey guys, we've lined up two sports cars that don't seem to have a lot in common, except for the fact that they're both Toyotas. To my left is the 2-liter Toyota Supra, and to my right is the brand new GR Corolla. But maybe they have something in common, and we'll let you guess at that. But Tommy, let's talk about what makes these vehicles interesting.
Yeah, so these are both members of the GR family. Gazoo Racing, of course, is the Toyota in-house kind of M division, right? The performance division. And the Corolla is the latest vehicle to get the GR badge. It's something really special. And then, of course, we've got the Supra. Now, there are two flavors of Supra. There is the 4-cylinder, which is what we're looking at today, and the 6-cylinder. Now, we don't know pricing on the Corolla yet. It hasn't been announced. But I'll be curious to find out how close these will actually be when the number is finally announced.
And how much is that one? Because that one has been announced.
Well, the 2-liter Supra starts at like $43,000. It goes up from there. And let us know what you think in the comment section below. How much do you think the GR Corolla is going to cost? So let's talk a little bit about how these two are different and how they may be similar. So we'll start with the Supra, because this is the car that's been out. So of course, this is a vehicle co-developed with BMW, the BMW Z4. It's a rear-wheel drive platform, a 2-seater sports car in the traditional sense. It's got a fixed roof, it's got a long hood, and it's got those classic proportions.
And this has something that's pretty interesting under the hood, Tommy. It is a 2-liter power plant. Let me open it up here so you can see it.
It's a BMW.
Oh, it's right. I forgot. It's a
two-pull. You gotta pull it twice.
Yeah, and that's something else that they don't have in common. There you go.
Yeah.
This one is completely co-developed by BMW and Toyota. That one is all Toyota.
So, of course, 2-liter, right in like the mid 200 horsepower range in this output, but it's only made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, there's a brand new car just over there, which is the new Supra with the manual in the 3-liter, but for 2023, the 2-liter is going to come with the auto box.
Now this has an interesting power plant because it's a 3-cylinder, Tommy.
And it actually makes more power. So this is a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. Of course, in the Supra, the 4-cylinder is longitudinally mounted. In the Corolla, it's transversely mounted. But that's just the start of the story, because it's a 3-cylinder engine with 300 horsepower. The hot sun clearly beating down pretty hard today.
Oh yeah, we should have picked white colors.
There you go. So 273 foot-pounds of torque with the transverse mounted 3-cylinder and that high compression turbocharged engine there. Now this car is only available with a manual transmission, so that's a pretty big difference as well. And that's before we get to which wheels are powered.
Right, because this is of course all-wheel drive, this is rear-wheel drive. But here's a comparison we can do right away, Tommy. We can do the engine note. What do you say?
Yeah, let's get an exhaust sound.
There goes an exhaust of the
I know, there goes the GR Corolla. So let's do the Supra first and see what that sounds like.
All right, I'll rev it up for you, and we can listen to the difference.
Now, one of the interesting things about the Supra, the 2-liter, is there's very little ways to distinguish the 4-cylinder from the 6. Different wheels and a slightly different exhaust look. Let's hear what it sounds like. Actually sounds pretty cool. It's got some little crack, snap, and pops in there, which is not bad for a little 4-cylinder. Now let's see what the 3-cylinder sounds like in the Corolla. Do you want to rev it up?
Yeah, I'll rev it up. I'll close this one without burning my hands.
Yep, that's got hood struts. That's a nice feature.
Yeah, that is a nice feature.
This guy's got the old school stick. Now this car has a really unique exhaust with 3 ports in the rear, which you can kind of see there. 2 small ones on the outside, and then one middle one. Go ahead and start her up there.
Yeah, I don't know, on a hot day. Whew.
Personally, I think that the Corolla actually has a little bit of a deeper sound, which is interesting because it's got an engine that's about 400 cc smaller than the Supra. Now, design-wise, they're pretty different. So the Toyota Supra is very swoopy, it's very elegant, it's very low and kind of, you know, Batmobile-like with the super long hood. You got this rise in the back here with that simulated vent, the wide hips. You got that little duckbill spoiler in the rear, the dual exhaust. It's very smooth, very curvaceous, very styled, whereas the Corolla is like, let's just make this into a hammer of a car. So they took the standard hatchback and just started slapping on wide body kits and fins and spoilers, and it's just absolutely nuts. personally, which one do you like more, Dad?
Well, ironically, this one actually has more carbon fiber on it because this is the Core. No, it's not the Core edition.
Circuit edition.
It's a Circuit edition. There's 3 editions. There's a Core Circuit and Morizo. It's like chorizo. And I think this one has more carbon fiber, which is interesting. All right, let me get in the back, huh? There's a big difference between, before I answer your question, because obviously you can't do this in the back of the Supra.
Nope.
So this one, of course, is more practical. It's a classic hot hatch. There's room back here for up to 3 people, your kids, and maybe if you fold the seats down, even your bike or snowboard or skis.
Yeah, it's a very practical vehicle, and we can get a sense of that too when we pop the trunk. You got 60-40 split, you got a good size trunk back here, even some additional storage underneath the floor. So it's a really practical little car. Now when we contrast that to the Supra, well, first of all, it's not a hatch. The Supra has an old school trunk, which
I'll pop it for you, Tommy.
Yeah, we need the button.
Let me go around and pop it for you.
Forgot that the Toyota uses a little button there.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice. Oh, it is a hatch. I'm totally wrong. I was thinking of the 86 as the trunk. No, this is actually a very good size rear end as well. It's, of course, a much smaller opening. You're not going to be able to fold the seats down because there's 2 of them. So you're not going to really be fitting your bike back here unless you have one of those little foldy bikes. But which one do you like more on design-wise?
You think if they were the same price, I'd have to pick one, huh?
Yeah.
That's a really great question. So if I were your age, Tommy, I'd definitely go with the GR Corolla. But since I'm not, and I don't need all the room, I'd probably go with the Supra.
Okay.
How about you?
I kind of agree. I like this a lot. I think this is a really cool looking car. I just love how it's kind of got the sleeper mentality with a little hatchback and then these massive vents on it, which is really cool.
The other issue for me, of course, and you, is that we both live in Colorado, and there's something great about having an all-wheel drive car in Colorado. You really can't live with a 2-wheel drive car, so this becomes either a summer steed, or if you put on snow tires, then you might be able to live with it in the winter. But this, with all-wheel drive, and with selectable all-wheel drive, right, you can kind of designate how much power you want to go to the front versus the rear wheels, then it makes it a really good ski car. So, you know, there's a lot of advantages, a lot of practicality to a hot hatch, especially an all-wheel drive hot hatch. Of course, the two don't directly compete, right? This competes with cars like the WRX, the STI, the Golf R, and this, of course, competes more with cars like the Mustang and the Camaro. So they're in 2 different worlds, but nevertheless, they're both GR Toyotas.
Now let's talk about the inside. You want to film me this time?
Yeah, sure.
So obviously the big competitor for the Supra, which we missed there, is the Z. Is a really big deal. Now, this is really where the Supra shines. So of course, lots of BMW switchgear. What that means, that hurts too.
I know, here, you take it, you can show it.
What that means is that the interior is just beautiful. I love the quality of the stitching, the quality of the materials. All of this is just BMW switchgear, and it feels and looks fantastic. I really like this. Obviously, BMW shines as well, but it feels like a very premium car in here, bordering on luxury. It's got the BMW infotainment as well. It's got iDrive in here. All this carbon looks really, really, really good. So fantastic interior. And that's one of the places where I think the Supra definitely outshines the Toyota. Now, the Toyota is not necessarily a bad place to hang out, but you got to figure that it's still based on a Corolla, which is more of a budget-minded car. So while this one does have some really cool goodies like the GR steering wheel, these special bolstered seats, overall, like the dash layout, the buttons, some of the features just don't feel quite as nice as what you'd find in the Supra. This one does have a standard 12-inch digital display, and it also has an 8-inch touchscreen here, but the quality of the buttons are not quite as good as what you'd find in that Supra just over there. Still very functional. I actually like the screen a lot. The latest generation of Toyota's infotainment is quite good. It's got profiles. It's got single zone automatic climate control, heated seats, so it is well equipped. It's just maybe not quite as nice. Oh, it's also got a heated steering wheel there. That's what you find there. By the way, these gauges, check this out. They will do this thing where, if I can get rid of these warning screens, they actually change design depending on the mode. So we're just in a normal mode, but let's go to like a sport. See how that tack just went flat? That's really, really cool. Seats are good though. I think these seats are probably better than the Supra. Even though I love the way those feel in terms of material quality, I think that the GR Corolla has a slightly more supportive seat design.
You know what else they have in common?
What?
Michelin Pilot Sport, Michelin Pilot Super Sport.
Yeah, summer tires.
Yeah, so these are 235/40 ZR18s.
Yep.
And these guys, let me see if I can see what size these are. They're 275/40 ZR18s.
Yeah.
So they're very similar in terms of the rubber, which is kind of interesting.
So which of the two are you taking home?
You know, now that I've kind of convinced myself that we live in Colorado, and I love the fact that this has all-wheel drive and this has a 3-liter that puts out more horsepower than this, which is pretty crazy, right?
1.6 liter.
I'm sorry, 1.6, a 3-cylinder.
Yeah.
That puts out more horsepower than this 2-liter. I'm kind of leaning toward the new Corolla, GR Corolla. How about you?
Well, you know, as much as I love the design of this and the hot hatchness and the all-wheel drive, there's something about a traditional rear-wheel drive sports car which just works. I love the way these 2-liter Supras drive. They're really tight, the suspension feels right, the weight balance is perfect. I love for like kind of, you know, autocrossing and weekending, the rear-wheel driveness of it. So this is actually going to probably be my choice between the two.
All right, well, let me know and let Tommy know in the comments below if you wanted to spend the same amount of money, let's say, which of the two would you buy? We're not saying that they're the same amount of money, but we'd love to know what your opinion is on this classic comparison, classic mashup comparison, Tommy.
Yep, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching TFL Car. Check out alltfl.com for the latest and greatest in new car reviews.